course, we all know at this point that a lot of people who look like me get offended when people assume their gender or their pronouns. And, people throw every type of pronoun my way. And none of that really matters to me because I know who I am, what I am. I am a boyish female lesbian. What can be frustrating for me is that people tend to assume my politics. And the truth is, I guess I'm coming out about this to a lot of people. It's funny. It's like I used to have to come out about being gay like all the time, even though I looked gay. But I would think this would be obvious. But it doesn't matter how long people have known me and what they've heard me say. I still have to come out to people a lot of time about this. I am politically fluid and moderate, politically non-binary. I was raised Mormon in Houston. Really, ever since I was a kid, it's just been the situation that when I was around conservatives, I was the liberal one. When I was around liberals, I was the conservative one. I've also just always been the devil's advocate. It's very natural to me. That's just the way I think. And that's really what inspired me to get into comedy. When I first discovered comedy, and my first influences were Bill Hicks and Chris Rock and George Carlin.
I'll show you politics in America. Here it is, right here. I think the puppet on the right shares my beliefs. I think the puppet on the left is more to my liking. Hey, wait a minute. There's one guy holding up both puppets. Shut up. Handful, very small elite run and own these corporations, which include the mainstream media. I have this feeling who's ever elected president, like Clinton was, no matter what your promises you promise on the campaign trail, blah, 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 when you win, you go into this smoky room with the 12 industrialist, capitalist scumfucks who got you in there, and you're in this smoky room, and this little film screen comes down, and a big guy in a cigar, roll the film. And it's a shot of a Kennedy assassination from an angle you've never seen before. It looks suspiciously off the grassy knoll. And then the screen goes up and the lights come up and they go to the new president. Any questions? Just what my agenda is. First we bomb Baghdad. You got it.
I'm talking about the real owners now. The real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That's against their interest. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. It's a big club, and you ain't in it.
And they really expanded my thinking, and I guess I'm just totally allergic to orthodoxy. Yeah, probably being raised Mormon contributed to that, although there's a lot that I like about Mormonism, and there isn't an orthodoxy among the left that religion is all bad, and I also disagree with that. Even that Mormonism is a great religion in a lot of ways. I have deep criticisms of it, but I also have deep praises of it. Anyway, point is, after the murder of Charlie Kirk, I've really been wanting to just come out about this, because for the crime of expressing my horror that some people were literally celebrating his assassination, I kept being told that I was pandering to the right and I had lost my way. I don't know how many of y'all had this experience, but there's also a lot of experiences of, in the first few days, especially after he was killed, I would be talking to someone who I'd never talked too much to them politically, but someone I knew, and they would say, "How you doing?" And I'd be like, "Well, honestly, I'm pretty shook right now. It's been a weird few days." And so many people would be like, "Yeah, I know, it's crazy. Can you believe that anybody's mourning the loss of that piece of shit? Yeah, it's crazy." can you believe people are upset a podcaster got killed? Can you believe someone who deserved, it? And it's like, God, the fact that people are so sure that they can say something like that's what would be the most upsetting thing about Charlie Kirk's death. Because it really doesn't matter. Even if you truly think that every opinion that came out of his mouth was like heinously wrong and hateful, it still should be upsetting to you that people are out and out celebrating his murder. I know people keep saying, he incited hate and violence and whatnot. I've still not really seen evidence of anything like that, truly. And I guess if you genuinely think this guy was Hitler, I don't know. I know people are living in different worlds online. And of course, I'm the one who gets accused of being in an algorithmic situation. It really is crazy making. Right after a conservative influencer gets murdered in front of all of us in public while exercising free speech, I kept being told that they want to murder all of us, meaning us LGBT, etc. folks. It's like, but I don't know who murdered him, because I've seen a lot of weird stuff about who the shooter may or may not have been, and conspiracies. I don't really know, but still, a conservative person gets murdered, and we're still harping on this point of they're trying to kill us. Statistically, there's really not that much killing of us. I know there's a lot of news sources that like to make y'all all afraid, like they're killing us all the time, we're dying all the time, but statistically it's just not real. So a high profile conservative gets murdered, and I'm told I can't be upset that people are celebrating his murder because they want to murder us. It's a little crazy making. Anyway, this is something that I've been really getting frustrated about, is that I keep seeing this thing where anytime someone who's presumed to be on the left, whether they are or not, maybe they're just gay, maybe they're black, maybe there's, but anyone who's presumed to just, of course, as a default, de facto be on the left, even if they are, whether they are or not, if they express an unorthodox opinion, a heterodox opinion, a conservative opinion, a moderate opinion, they're accused of not only pandering to the right, but also it's always that it's a grift. It's not that any of us could ever possibly disagree with the orthodoxy of the left. It's that it's always a grift, which, first of all, I've never gotten my check. I would love to get my check at some point. If any of this has been a grift, please, someone send me some money. Is that crazy? Like, just any opinion that you express that's different means you're somehow grifting, you're somehow insincere. It's like, what are the odds that half of the country all believes exactly the same things and all has exactly the same opinions? Obviously, that's not true. Obviously, not even 30% of there's no single person that I agree with about everything. I see eye to eye on about every political question, every socio-political question. So it's just insane that we have this idea that so many people just seem, if you ever disagree with them about anything, then you're a grifter. It's like, guys, that's not how, anyway, that is not how shit works. Okay, my dog, I don't know if y'all can hear this little dog. She's, because she's trying to get into her treat bag. You want to see Tofu real quick? You guys want to see Tofu? Say hi, Tofu. Okay, you go back to trying to get your treats. Now, the truth is, because I'm gay and because I've spent my adult life living in liberal cities, New York, Boston, and Austin, because I'm in the entertainment industry, I've been surrounded by liberals, I've been in liberal milieu, and people assume that I'm one of them. And while I agree with liberals a lot, there's a lot I agree, there's a lot I'm small L liberal on, I also disagree with them a lot. There's things I'm small C conservative on. I'm moderate. I usually am, oftentimes I'm just like, I kind of see everyone's point, and I think that we need to take the yin and the yang and work together to come up with solutions that work the best to answer everybody's concerns. Not everybody. Some people are crazy. Some people are racist or sexist or stupid or whatever, you know what I mean? And increasingly, ever since the 2016 days, there's been a lot of intolerance on the left for disagreements of I like the word disagreements. I know it's technically not a word, agreements and disagreements, but I like an agreement is like a thing that you like officially agree to, like a paper, and agreements is like a state. You're in a state of agreements or a state of disagreements. But a lot of people, when Trump first got elected, had this idea that instead of like learning anything from that and going, I wonder why we lost, we were so sure we would win, maybe there's some things we're not realizing, maybe we should address. A lot of people were like, no, we need to circle the wagons and, not question ourselves, not question any of our ideas, but just yell louder that those other people are stupid and bad. And, they were really, it started, I think that was really the moment when it became really like, you cannot have a disagreement with our side. Our side has to be in lockstep with each other, and we can never betray our side by having any kind of disagreement. So a lot of us just shut up and like stop saying our opinions in front of liberals. A lot of times we just learned to keep our mouths shut. When you're around conservatives, you can disagree with them. Conservatives and moderates, like, they'll debate, they'll discuss, they're fine with disagreement, they're happy to have that. But it's liberals who just became very rigid and sort of like socially authoritarian, and kind of that like cultural revolution feeling of like someone's going to tell on you if you say something. It's liberals who we hide our opinions from, even I know a lot of totally progressive liberal people who still have people that they can't speak their mind in front of. Not completely, people censor themselves a ton on the left. So, so many of us just don't confront liberals about it. There's just so much we keep our mouths shut about, which is why there are a lot of people who wind up just flabbergasted and astounded and confused, and some of them don't believe it when their candidate loses because they don't know anyone who voted for Trump. Yes, they do. They just don't know anyone who would tell them. So that's the truth. To the progressives, I say, when you hear me saying something that is in more accordance with the right, it's not that I'm pandering to them. I'm being genuine and sincere. I'm always being genuine and sincere. I might be wrong about all kinds of things, but there's no grit. Like, if I wanted to spend my life making money, I would live a completely different life. I'm a fucking starving artist comedian who questions all sides of things. Okay? I've been pandering to you. That's who I've been pandering to. And a lot of us have. We've been pandering to you. I have been pandering to you. I have been trying so hard because I want you to like me, because I'm in the entertainment industry, because I'm around y'all, because I want everyone to like me. Well, guess what? I'm done. A lot of us are done. It's one thing when we disagree with you, we think you're wrong-headed, we think you're steering the country in the wrong way, and a lot of times we think you're inviting a pushback that's going to be worse than anything, that we think you're actually making the world more racist, sexist, homophobic, and transphobic. It's one thing that. But you showed yourselves to be such ghouls about the Kirk thing. I mean, that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. I know it's crazy to some of y'all that it's like I'm so hung up on the celebration of one podcaster's murder, but it was a fucked up moment, and it really did change things. And that's why I feel like I'm just out of the closet about this. I don't know what to do anymore. I can't keep pretending. And I think, they say we're supposed to be ourselves, we're supposed to be authentic, whatever. And I think I've been holding myself back from so much authenticity because I didn't want to piss off a bunch of progressives, and whether they're my friends in real life or strangers online or gatekeepers. And there's no way. The gatekeepers have never liked me. The institutions have never wanted to do anything with me. I am a very funny comedian. I know this video's not funny. This is a sincere video. But ask anyone who's ever seen me do stand-up if you haven't. I am very funny. I am good at my job. And the gatekeepers don't like me anyway. I have to create my career on my own. The only way I'm going to be able to do that is to be authentic. So it's not a grift. It's just a sincere attempt to build my audience. People who want to hear opinions that differ from their, that might be different from theirs. People who want to, so many of y'all are just interested in your biases being confirmed. And sometimes I'm going to do that because I agree with all of y'all about some things. I disagree with all of y'all about other things. It's very hard to do what I'm trying to do, which is to not pick a side, but to play devil's advocate all the time, to be sincere, to question everything, and to build an audience of people who are into that, because the algorithms don't like it, and the algorithms in y'all's hearts don't like it. It feels so much better to have people just agree with you, to have people just dunk on the people that you are annoyed with. I'm going to do some of that. But then some of y'all who follow me from one video because I did that to the other side are going to unfollow me because I make some points that agree with that side in the next video. So yeah, there's no grift. I wish all I cared about was money. Again, I wouldn't be a comedian in the first place if what I wanted was, I do want money. I would really love to be able to afford to have a child. I would love to be able to afford to travel, to, to buy nice presents for people, to take my girlfriend out to eat more than once a month. There's so many things I would like to be able to afford to do. I have been living in poverty for the last 11 years as I've done comedy. I first left my millionaire wife and didn't take anything in order to go be with a farmer who became my second ex-wife. I made I didn't know. I've made every mistake in life. Maybe one day I'll write a book to try to save people from making all the mistakes I've ever made. But, sincerely, I know a lot of y'all live in your algorithms. This account accused me, he thinks that like the algorithms have poisoned my mind, and he doesn't know if I'm just grifting or if it's that I've actually been deluded into. It's like, dude, that I've actually been deluded into like believing the stuff that I'm saying. It's like, dude, I have friends and acquaintances that I talk to regularly, and strangers from across the political spectrum. I have deep conversations with people across the political spectrum. I read books and articles from across the political spectrum. Just look at my podcasts. Here's a little snip of my podcast feed. I'm in a bubble. Like, I don't just let the algorithm dictate. Of course, we all have algorithms on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Of course, we all are influenced by that stuff. But when you subscribe to podcasts purposefully, when you talk to people, when you read books that disagree with me, like I've read all the bad books that y'all tried to get canceled about gender stuff, that you y'all even know. Some of y'all might have no idea the campaigns that trans activists have done to try to get a bunch of books canceled. I've also read all the memoirs of all the trans people. You know what I mean? Like, and the reality is, no matter how much shit I've gotten from, especially from the trans world, some, or the LGBT world, a lot of people have tried to, LGBTQ plus world, a lot of people have tried to cancel me, have canceled me, have gotten me, banned from venues, have done quiet behind the scenes campaigns, have done online campaigns. As much as I've gotten canceled, like, I continue to do stand-up bits, many of which are very, like, I hate to even say pro-trans, because it's not even how nothing I do is ever pro-trans or anti-trans. I do stand-up that tries to get conservative people to see what they're missing about liberals' points. I do stand-up that tries to get liberal people to see what they're missing about conservative points. I try to open the Overton window further. I try to get people talking on the way home. Okay, what is Tofu doing? Did you find something bad to chew? Okay, let's go find good things to chew. Okay. Anyway, like, I just did an event with a bunch of TERFs, which I don't identify as a TERF, by the way. Some people call me a TERF, but that's not how I think of myself. But that's a whole discussion for another day. But I also regularly do stand-up bits that are all about how I really don't think that the restrooms are a big deal, and helping people see why they could just get over it, and that is not something that we should be pursuing. And I do a lot of bits that are all about like everyone chilling about the trans thing. So anyway, if you want to support what I do, which God bless you, I need you. Thank you so much for the people who have been supporting me for a while, even if it's just watching my videos. I appreciate every view on there. It's not easy being moderate. It's not easy being politically non-binary. So I really appreciate what y'all do. And if you want this, if you want to be challenged, if you like nuance, if you don't think nuance is a bad word, then, you know, please give me a subscribe, give me a like, a comment, a follow, a share. Tofu will appreciate it. We give Tofu the healthiest, best foods and things. And if you want to help me to be able to buy her cute outfits, then help me out here. But yeah, that is my coming out video. I'm not a goddamn liberal, but I am kind of, I don't know, man, I'm liberal. It's like Chris Rock said.
But the whole country's got a fucked up mentality, man. We all got a gang mentality. Republicans are fucking idiots, and Democrats are fucking idiots, and conservatives are idiots, and liberals are idiots, and anyone that makes up their mind before they hit an issue is a fucking fool, okay? Everybody. No. Everybody's so busy wanting to be down with a gang. I'm a conservative, I'm liberal, I'm conservative. It's bullshit. Be a fucking person. Listen. Let it swirl around your head. Then form your opinion. No normal, decent person is one thing, okay? I got some shit I'm conservative about. I got some shit I'm liberal about. Crime, I'm conservative. Prostitution, I'm liberal.
Prostitution, I'm not sure about, but I'm about to have an interesting conversation with Megan Murphy where I'll see if she can help me make up my mind about prostitution and sex work and porn. And also I will try to push back on some of her very hardline stances about the gender stuff, because some of y'all think I'm a fucking TERF, but you know, it's much more complicated than that. I've fucking been friends with trans people for more than a decade. I've known and know so many trans people. There's a lot of trans people I sincerely who like seem like the sex that they identify as to me. And does that mean that we should just give in to every demand that any trans activist has ever had? No. Does that mean I believe in gender ideology? No. But I think the world is fucking complicated, and I think we should have compassion and empathy and try to figure out what's best for society, for all of us. Yeah. Anyway, okay. Thank you for anyone who has made it to the end of this. I really appreciate your attention. Attention is the most valuable resource on the planet right now. So, sincerely, thank you.